Hi, welcome back, my wise astrology tribe. I'm here to shed some cosmic insight for you. My name is Christina. I will be your co-pilot, and I'm going to talk about today Uranus, Mars, and North Node conjunction. This is an unbelievable rare conjunction in heaven, which happened 2,334 years ago in Taurus. I'm going to talk about the history, and I also going to talk about a little bit Uranus, Mars, and North Node. What does it represent in our life, and what is it responsible for? So Uranus actually was the husband of Gaia, and he's really rebellious and unconventional, and he's pretty much the god of the sky, and very, very genius. Uranus is responsible for our higher knowledge. It is representing the genius within. And but he was always cheating on Gaia until Gaia had enough and sent him away. So that's why Uranus became truly rebellious and representing protest in astrology as well. So Uranus also Prometheus in Greek mythology, and Prometheus had been actually punished, and he was tied to a pole and let the vultures came and eat his liver over and over and over again. So it's always regrew, but it was quite a suffering for this god. So definitely Uranus is responsible for rebellion. It's responsible for example, gay marriages and the gayness. It is also representative and represent high technology, artificial intelligence, robotic, and it is representing uranium. It's also rules, for example, your need, because it's rules and it's the modern ruler of Aquarius. So it's a very humanitarian planet, and the sign itself, Aquarius, is truly humanitarian. But Uranus is chaos. It's a sudden change, and Uranus can actually go either way, sudden loss or sudden gain. So it could be very pleasant change, unpredictable, or it could be very devastating change in our life. It's also representing X-ray, and as I said, it's the uranium, it's the cyber world, the artificial intelligence, and it's also representing the nuclear war, for example, nuclear accidents. And it's also, if you believe it or not, representing capitalism. With Uranus, it's, for example, in Taurus, before, when Uranus was in Taurus, it happened in 1934 and 43, between 43. That's when the Great Depression and the Second World War happened. So Uranus in Taurus can be very devastating. Uranus in Taurus also representing some kind of change in climate, extreme weathers. For example, more tornadoes, because Uranus is big winds as well. So more tornadoes or tsunamis could come. Something with wind, big wind, and also it could be because of the wind is creating the, what is that? Oh my God. Okay, I'm going to talk about that later. I just forget the hurricanes, for goodness sake. Yes, hurricanes. And so we're going to have definitely extreme weathers coming, and especially with this conjunction. So what And Uranus also rules pistols, not the guns. Mars rules the military and guns, but Uranus representing also pistols. Uranus in Taurus wants to seek for safety, but how? It wants to seek for safety through artificial intelligence. So you're going to most likely, and we all going to most likely go to the extreme to modernize our house and have everything computerized in the home. So it could represent that as well. All right, so Mars, what is the planet Mars? Planet Mars is the warrior. It is actually the warrior within. We are fighting with others. It's also representing engineering, and it's representing the military, guns, and it also representing the fire within. So Mars is the soldiers. Saturn is the general, but Mars is the soldiers in astrology. With Uranus-Mars conjunction, a lot of unexpected sudden death or sudden accident can happen all over in mundane perspective, so all over the world. Or actually, Uranus, because it rules the nuclear structures, Mars is accident. It could be something like nuclear accident coming. Mars is an attack. Uranus is cyber. So, for example, it can also indicate some kind of cyber attack, what is coming up for us. What else going to be? So, okay, Mars is the planet of war, and it's definitely Uranus. Conjuncting with Uranus, it could be some kind of technology in military. And because Uranus also rules airplane and flying object and aliens and UFOs, it could be a war between the Earth and between aliens, or it could be some kind of military technology improvement, but with flying object and involving flying objects. So North Node, let's talk about, and no, I'm going back to Mars. So Mars is ruling the first house of Aries and the 8th house of the co-ruler of Scorpio of the 8th house. And first house is our ego, is our body. And Aries is a very impulsive, initiating sign. And the 8th house, co-ruling Scorpio, it's a very deep, analytical, psychological, rules the underworld itself. And Mars can be definitely evil and really impulsive. So Uranus-Mars conjunction, I definitely feel like, and Mars is fire, Uranus is tornado. I see more fiery tornadoes coming up with that weather change. So somehow fire gonna be in the center of the tornado. That's what I can see. North Node, I'm going to go to North Node. North Node is actually not a planet. North Node is related to our karma. North Node is always opposition with South Node. It is a karmic point. It is a mathematical point of the moon. It is the nodes of our moon. And it's always in opposition with each others. North Node is representing, symbolizing the head of the dragon, and South Node is representing the tail of the dragon, but we need to shed off to move forward and approach our karma and move forward and actually live our purpose. North Node is purpose, South Node is very karma, very Saturnian energy, and North Node is very Jupiterian energy. It's a blessing most of the time, especially if it has good aspects. The North Node and South Node always in opposition, always. So it has different, exactly opposing to each other's. At this moment, we have North Node in Taurus and South Node is Scorpio. North Node and Taurus rules the second house, which is our value and our finances and our items, what we earn. So actually our belongings. And the eighth house is other people's money, bank system. It is like also rules sexuality and death as well. But if I have to guess and bet, that is a major change going to go, and a chaos going to be in our bank system. We're gonna bypass bank. We're going to actually create something with this North Node and Uranus conjunction. We're going to create something which is more beneficial for creating food. And I'm gonna say why. Because this conjunction going to happen in 18 degrees. And by Nikola Stoyanovich, the 18 degrees, it's very significant, but it's actually a misfortune, a curse degree. It is also a Virgo degree. So it's really dogmatic and very detailed, but it's a genetic disease, misfortune, and a curse degree by Nikola. And 18 degrees in numerology, however, it's the numerology 9, which is also representing ending, completion cycles. So with this conjunction, definitely we're going to evaluate ourselves and going through a major evolution here, and we're going to start a totally new life. The way we are approaching life, the way we are connecting with each others, and actually the way we are coexist, it's going to change tremendously. But you know, I know Nicola says 18 degrees is a curse and misfortune, but by the Jewish people and in Hebrew, it's the letter chai, that is C-H-A-I, which means lives. So definitely it's a rebirth here, what's going to happen with us. And, you know, rebirth through fights, because Mars is a fighter, Uranus is a rebel. Uranus is seeking for freedom. So I can see a lot of freedom fighters. And against what? It's going to happen on 18 degrees, and it's going to trigger the Saturn-Uranus square, which happened last year 3 times in 18 degrees. And it's also going to happen one more time in October. So it's going to trigger that point. So we are going to rebel against the old structure. So for example, we're going to rebuild a new humanitarian project, and it's gonna be becoming something with capitalism, but because Uranus rules capitalism and the right wing and, you know, the growth. So it's going to be also, for example, fight for gay marriages, because Uranus is gayness. This is fight over here. It's against the government, because the government wants to forbid gay marriages or adoption for gay couples or something like that. And, you know, North Node is or karma or purpose or future. So we're going to set up our future with a fight, with rebellion against that kind of restriction, that kind of delay, and that kind of, you know, what Saturn does with us. And Saturn is definitely limitation. So we don't want to have boundaries. We don't want to have limitation. We want to actually, Uranus is seeking for globalization, because Uranus is breaking down boundaries. It's breaking down borders. Saturn is borders. So the fight against borders, fight against walls, we don't need walls, we don't need borders kind of situation. Uranus is exodus. Mars is like, yes, it's like initiator of exodus. And also, you know, in Taurus is a fixed earth sign. It's creating a technology, but we're going to bypass the traditional farming methods. And Uranus is inventing something which is going to actually feed the hungry. So it's going to be really revolutionary, because Uranus represents revolution. And let me see what else is happening on those days and what else we can talk about. A little bit of history. I was talking about already when it happened before, when Uranus was in Taurus, that was the Great Depression and the Second World War. So we had a lot of dictators over there. And then, and it's funny because yes, Hitler was actually Taurus. So Uranus in Taurus, we might going to have dictators coming up who has some kind of Scorpio and Taurus axis. It doesn't have to be Taurus, but Scorpio and Taurus axis, because that's where the North Nodes are. All right, so what else is happened in previously? So when Uranus and North Node actually conjuncted, that was in 1939, when the World War started, the Second World War. And when Mars and Uranus conjuncted, it was December 22nd, 2022, because Mars is a really quick planet and it's going around the zodiac signs every between 18 months, and it's depends how long. Sometimes it's in retrograde. Right now it's gonna be in retrograde for 7 months, so it's gonna take longer, but between 18 months and 2.5 years it's going around the zodiacal signs. So it was in 2022 December 22nd that when the suicide rate went up. And why? Uranus and Mars is actually that is a significator for suicide. And because of we had already started our pandemic, and that was a lot of people who lost job, they couldn't go back to job, or who get actually sick and losing some kind of abilities, then yes, the suicide rate went up. And also the Delta variant came back and came up that time. It's also created some kind of very weird fire tornadoes back then, but I was checking online. But yes, right now I'm expecting major fire tornadoes, which could be really devastating. All right, let's go forward. Uranus also rules like X-rays. It doesn't rule photography because Neptune rules photography, but Uranus rules the way we develop photography. So it's going to be an extreme change maybe over there, or maybe the way we are X-raying the body, it's going to be an improvement. And Uranus in Taurus also representing the medical technology going to rapidly change. They're going to print out what? Maybe livers. Jupiter rules livers, but because of Uranus's Prometheus, who had some kind of issue with the liver, right? Because the vultures were eating and it's regenerated always. So they could invent something but regenerate the liver. Or for example, Uranus, Mars, it could be an epidemic of, because Mars is inflammation and infection, it could be an epidemic of hepatitis. And that's why they need to come up with a solution, which is going to be some kind of medical technology to prevent and heal that situation or regenerate the liver there. Okay, Uranus also rules aliens and alien spaceship, because actually Neptune rules aliens, but Uranus rules the UFOs, the alien spaceship. So we're going to have a lot of connection with alien spaceship, or maybe even some kind of war, because we're gonna get scared when we're going to see them, and we're going to be very protective. Uranus also in Taurus wants safety by technology, what I said before, but definitely the weather condition going to be truly significant. And I'm going back again in time, and I'm gonna go back actually 1855, when North Node and Uranus actually in Taurus were conjuncting, and that's when was the Opium War. But I don't think so Uranus and North Node indicated that, because in 1855 we also had Neptune and Jupiter conjunction in Pisces, that created great floods and also created climate change, right? But great floods and also the Opium War. And let's see, Neptune is drugs. So the opium war could have started with this, but it's continued with North Node and Uranus. So North Node Uranus and Jupiter and Neptune both were conjuncting in 1855, when we had like not just the opium war, but we had the British war with the opium war with China, but the British war was between France and Britain. So and also there was a war between Russia and France, and then because of religion. So, and Russia failed back then. However, right now I see the bird, you know, like the Uranus doesn't want boundaries, it doesn't want borders. And I see someone is rising a dictator with Scorpio and Taurus axis, and I think it's gonna be Scorpio axis right now. And unfortunately, Putin has some kind of Plutonian aspects in his chart, and I do believe Russia going to take over, because I checked China also previously, but because of China's Saturn is really, and Ukraine Saturn is really devastated right now, so they're not going to rise, but Russia will, and it's going to become a superpower. And because of the Pluto return in July 12th, the second exact Pluto return for America, America really going to fail, and America really going to not even be on its knee, but it's going to be devastating in America. And you know, Uranus, the borders, I do see, and I have seen many times, like America going to be, for example, 3 big countries. It's not gonna be the United States, 3 or 4 big countries, not gonna be the United States again. All right, so what else going to happen? Yes, so it's going to definitely trigger this Saturn. So we can expect a lot of food issues. So we're not going to have supplements, we're not going to have baby foods, we're not going to have foods, because Uranus and Saturn square its limitation of the food. So what else? You see that grand crossover here, what's creating by 2-3 squares? Okay, so what's gonna happen? We're going to have this conjunction at 18 degrees squaring with Mercury in Leo. Leo, Mercury, all right. So it could be something with the way we want to shine to speak, but it's opposing Saturn, but we won't be allowed to speak. We won't be allowed to use internet, or they're gonna cut off the internet, because Uranus rules electricity and internet. So it could be a total blackout, for example, for a while, and or they're going to take off Facebook and everything for a week or more, and you know, like all social media accounts. It could represent that, because they don't want us to know about the truth. Maybe it's alien spaceships, maybe it's war between, maybe it's a nuclear catastrophe, accident, and they don't want us to know. So they're just going to really cut off everything and cut us off. So we're not gonna have information, right? But definitely bank system going to be bypassed. It's going to become, and Uranus rules artificial intelligence. So I see over there a major change in artificial intelligence. And, you know, quite frankly, it's a cycle here. So in 2.5 years, artificial intelligence can take over. They can robotize the whole entire farming system. They can robotize the whole entire fooding system. So yeah, it is crash, it's changing, it's chaos, it's revolutionary, but we have to co-create together. We have to co-create together, because otherwise we won't be able to survive. Look at that, Mars is aggressive. Mars and Uranus, the military technology is improving. So it could be also good or bad, right? Because of, yeah, it's great to have military technology improving, but what? Something nuclear, they can finish everything, and they can finish it immediately. So definitely the way we are communicating, it's going to be blacked out. So sun wants to be seen. You see, like, for example, Leo is really needs center of attention, needs to be seen. Mercury, I want to be seen when I'm talking, but I can't because it's forbidden to me. It's forbidden to talk about any kind of government subject, humanitarian subject, any kind of climate changing and situation like that. Okay. What else? Oh, yes, you know, Uranus is the higher mind. North Node is karma, and it is a huge changing technology. I was assuming actually they're going to create some kind of images where they can actually read our mind. It's going to be some kind of technology and machine that's going to interpret our thoughts. And it is scary because, right, this is the only thing but we can hide, our thoughts. And somehow I feel like they are going to be capable to see our thoughts. Yes, so definitely it's a major change. Definitely it's big. Let me see what's happening, because Taurus ruled by Venus gonna be in Cancer, and Cancer gonna square with Jupiter on the same day. So let me see. Cancer, in what degree is in Cancer? Cancer is going to be 16 degrees and Jupiter is 8. So it's not an exact square because it's 8 minutes away, and Jupiter is retrograde, so it's separating, definitely. Venus is moving forward, but it's still a square. And it's also still conjuncting Black Moon Lilith. Let me see, how far is Lilith? Lilith is 12 degrees. Yes, it's still considering to be a conjunction. It's not a type, but conjunction. Black Moon Lilith is responsible for the stillborn and abortion. And in Cancer, actually, motherhood conjuncting with the ruler of this conjunction with Venus and squaring with Jupiter, the law, and the arrogant law, impulsive arrogant law. So it is, again, it can also trigger a rebel, a protest against law because of the abortion law, because of the children, or, you know, or unborn. Yes, that could represent that one as well. All right. So I think that's only I wanted to say. It's going to be definitely difficult. It's going to be definitely life-changing. It is going to be definitely a lot of great technology coming up. We might even going to be create something that can stop the extreme weather. So for example, some kind of devices that's going to stop the hurricane, because of another hurricane going to be sent against what we create, and then the two is going to diminish or nullify themselves, something like that. But a lot of changes happening. There is going to be a lot of protests, a lot of sudden deaths, a lot of tornado, a lot of tsunamis. However, together we co-create, and I'm looking forward for a better future. And if we are wise and we're going to use this technology for the better, for our advantage, and not using that for money and just only material and financial gain, then actually we will be okay then. Okay, so thank you so much for your attention, and I'm truly grateful for you to subscribe for my channel. If you would like to have a reading with me, please don't hesitate and check out my website, which is www.urbanwitch.org. Thank you so much. Till we meet again. Bye.